program in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, Dr. Holness says the country's road network deteriorated long before his administration. However, the Prime Minister says his administration is the first to create the economic muscle to resolve the situation. He says many of the same politicians who are now complaining about the state of the country's infrastructure failed to make any meaningful improvements during their time in office.
Mr. Speaker, we have seen politicians come and pontificate and make promises about roads, pothole-free by 2003. Mr. Speaker, we are here in 2024, and the people who made that promise then are the same people who are coming now to complain. Why did they make Jamaica pothole-free in 2003? You know why, Mr. Speaker? Because they did not create the economy to do it. And what they do now is to go around and play upon people's frustration without looking at exactly what needs to be done. Well, this administration, Mr. Speaker, knows exactly what needs to be done.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. So, who is at fault? Joining us now to discuss, we have Opposition Spokesman on Works, Michael Phillips, and member of the JLP's Communication Task Force, Marlon Morgan. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Marlon, good afternoon to all your listeners.
Michael Phillips, let me start with you because you took issue with the Prime Minister's framing in the Parliament yesterday. Why?
Oh, well, the Prime Minister is behaving as if he is not in it isn't his administration that is now has formed the government, and he has been the Prime Minister for near 9 years now. And as I reminded him yesterday, as he likes to keep going right back to the 18 years of when the People's National Party was in government, that 18 years ended in 2007, 17 years ago. And his party has been in government for 13 of those 17 years. So if it is that anyone had the opportunity to make a change, would have been him during his tenure. And he's now trying to blame others for why his own administration had not made any impact on the road network. So, it was some debate, and I find that yesterday was not the first time that the Prime Minister is trying to cast blame on others for his failure.
Marlon Morgan, isn't that fair? Last 17 years, the JLP has been in power the majority of the time, and Michael Phillips is saying it's time now that you take accountability and responsibility for the challenges the country faces. Isn't that fair?
Well, one of the things in conversations like this, gentlemen, is that there are persons, perhaps Michael numbers amongst them, who are not keen on providing appropriate context, and that's where I would like to start. Now, the Labour Party administration has indeed been in office for just about 9 years now, yes? However, Jamaica has considerably aging road infrastructure, and that has largely been exacerbated, particularly in recent times, by the volume of vehicles that traverse our roadways. So the stress on the roads, and importantly, the realities presented by climate change, because that is a phenomenon that is in our society. It affects us, particularly as a small island developing state. And so the truth is that we have had years of neglect exacerbated by increased stress on the roadway that is aging to begin with, and increase the volume of rainfall. And the point being made by the Prime Minister, the context being provided by the Labour Party, is that for many decades we have not been able to maintain and address in any substantial way our road infrastructure here in Jamaica, and that has not been as a result of a lack of willingness so to do, but largely as a result of Jamaica's inability to do so adequately based on not having the financial capacity to respond in a timely manner. And it is for this reason why I am bringing your listeners' attention to the sharp distinction that is to be made here. We do have challenges along our road network in terms of roads being in a state of disrepair. For the first time, however, you have a situation where a government, as is happening now with this Andrew Holness-led JLP government, is in a position to more effectively and sustainably respond to it based on having built up based on having managed the economy in a certain way and build up the resources to be able to maintain the road infrastructure, because that is what has eluded us over many years. During the PNP's 18 and a half years, for example, they had many years of deficit financing. We simply did not have the financial wherewithal to respond, and this government is responding. Problems there are, but the Jamaican people need to look to who is better placed to devise and implement the solutions to the problems. And I am submitting this evening, gentlemen, that it is the Jamaica Labour Party, the Andrew Holness administration, that is better placed. So
you call it context. So you laid out what you say is the context